fire him, he's too fat. I don't like that one at all. I am a hedge fund toady and stool. I'm a steward. I'm not happy.
Today, folks, it finally happened. You mess around on Reddit for too long, and before you know it, you're having a mental breakdown. You're blowing up on national CNBC television. We are going to break down Jim Cramer and just this absurd, just mental, fatigue moment that I couldn't find anywhere on the actual CNBC website, on their YouTube channel, but somebody luckily uploaded this from sitting back on their couch, and I am forever grateful to whoever did that. And then we're going to see a 180 because after the Buffett release, Jim Cramer was still willing to back up the Wall Street bettors and the Robin Hooders and basically say, hey, Buffett, you're too crude, you're too mean. These people aren't that dumb as you think they are. And we're going to get to see two sides of this perspective. So in the clarity of my transparency, all that we're going to learn today, help the channel out. Just hit that like button, folks. But let's get right into this.
I think a whole day. And I think in your words, how worthless has this place become? Is that a part of it?
Yeah. I mean, the only person I didn't block was someone who had a cat picture. It's all these diamond, whatever. They just will do anything to derail. He's fire him. He's too fat. I don't like that one at all. I've been working out like a demon. He's an idiot. I went to Harvard to get stupid, and then I went to Harvard Law to get stupid. He's obviously stupid. How many times can I be called stupid before I start to, you know what? This bothers me. Even someone with thick skin has to sit there and say, I'm a crook, I'm a hedge fund dupe, I am a toady. I mean, enough already. Grow up.
Well, you might want to just get off the platform. Now, I want to let you know this is a safe space for you. You know that.
Safe space.
There's nothing but love here for you.
Safe. This is a safe. There's safe texts. We're not going to read things.
Right here, and also
but
even
Carl,
extending out.
Carl identifies. I am done. I mean, I'm the guy who likes to respond to people.
I know, but you just can't. You can't
no,
let
but
if
this 9 million people of this Wall Street bets decide that I hate Adam Aaron, okay, which I don't. I love him. I've known him he went to Abington High, which is our rival, was from Springfield. If they all decide, David, that I have offered so many solutions for GameStop. I have offered the Bitcoin solution. 5,000 of these stores should be turned into places to be able to buy crypto, even Dogecoin, and then take over the ends of the dark areas of the mall and open up giant gaming facilities, and the winners get paid in Bitcoin. And no. Yeah, they raised $550 million. Do I get any credit? No. I am a hedge fund toady and stool. I'm a steward. I'm not happy.
I understand that, but you just can't let them get you down.
So, I love this other guy. I don't even know his name, but he's so calming. And in every video, he's always trying to talk Jim off a cliff, apparently. Which we're going to see more moving into the next clip here as well, guys. But I don't know what happened. I cannot find any subreddit on Wall Street Bets. Jim Cramer used to be idolized there. And I don't know what led to this moment. But the fact that I haven't been able to find clips of this anywhere is just so funny to me. This is like comedic gold for investors. And I feel bad for the guy, but it's the internet. I mean, there's trolls, there's kids, there's people doing dumb stuff. I grew up in this generation. I see you guys comment on these videos all the time saying stuff, and my mom's like, you need to reply to these people. They're terrible people. And then I'm like, yeah, but watch what happens when I reply. You reply, and then they just continue to go down this nonsensical rabbit hole that's really not going to lead you to a better place. However, really funny, and I love Jim Cramer. I got nothing against this guy because, I mean, he's an inspirational dude. He's done a great job. He really brings a lot of younger millennials to CNBC and kind of helps guide the directions, which we're going to see as he even contradicts some of the stuff Buffett says. Now, this is a longer clip, so we're going to be breaking this down piece by piece, but sit back, guys. Relax. That's why you're here. Let's enjoy. Let's learn some investing advice.
So many headlines from the Berkshire meeting, Jim. I know you talked about a couple of them, but SPACs, Bitcoin, Apple, buybacks, climate, where do you begin?
Well, I do think that we have to talk about the individual investor, the youthful individual investor, and I'm going to take it head on here. Look, obviously, I respect those two men, as everyone else does, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger. You have to. But I found, I agree with Vlad Tenev and Robinhood when I say that it was insulting. Now, maybe it was meant to insult. Maybe it was too sweeping. But I think that when those gentlemen blast a company that has actually brought millions of people in, some of these people are investors. And not all of them are casino or call buyers. And David, I think that there's a sense of contempt for change. And these people are part of a change and a democratization that I am not going to criticize.
When you talk about that, or when you say that there's some contempt for that, is there anything in particular that comes out of the various comments that were made by Mr. Buffett?
There was a very good comment about short-term Apple call buying. I do think that there's too much call buying. I also think that if you rely on what people say is where they get their ideas, Wall Street bets, that means that you've bought GameStop and you've bought AMC.
Right.
There really isn't much more to it. So, David, my take is that we're not getting the correct sample, and that both men have contempt for millions of people who are smarter than having money in a checking account. And they're trying, and you don't want to discourage them. But if you listen to these two, I think you find that they've attacked a generation as fools. And I disagree with that.
Now, this is a super fascinating point because I brought this up a lot, and it's kind of contradicted because I always said, look, if you're new to the market, go buy some Dogecoin. I mean, have some fun with it because you have to get excited and find a way into the market that's going to work for you. And honestly, my first stock I ever bought was Canopy Growth Corp for dollars. And I mean, I got lucky. A lot of people aren't. But I mean, my accounts, even though I bought Canopy, guys, they still dropped 50% in the first year of me investing. But you have to find a way to appropriate yourself into this. And sometimes you get lucky, you make a lot of money, you find a lot of interest, you learn to diversify. I mean, that's what Mark Cuban's even doing with his son. He bought Dogecoin for his son just to get him interested in the financial markets. And I think this is what Buffett largely overlooked. I think there is an over-exuberated amount of speculation and gambling, and a lot of people are going to get slapped silly, sure. But I think what he's talking about here, I think is super justifiable, that there's nothing wrong with just having some fun. I think Buffett was more on the side of people getting taken advantage of when it comes to SPACs and that stuff. It wasn't so much people gambling as it was the people that were actually being taken advantage of, because obviously managers were getting stringent, taking as many fees as they could. But let's continue on. There's a lot of awesome gold in here.
Carl, yeah, go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, I mean, Robinhood's statement, if you haven't heard it so far this morning, is if the last year has taught us anything, it's that people are tired of the Warren Buffetts and Charlie Mungers of the world acting like they're the only oracles of investing. If you missed what the two said over the weekend, take a listen to this.
I do want to see how they handle the source of income when they say they don't charge the customer or anything. I mean, it'll just be interesting to watch how they describe it. I mean, but they have attracted, maybe set out to attract, but they have attracted. I think I read where 12 or 13% of their casino participants were dealing in puts and calls. I looked up on Apple, the number of 7-day calls and 14-day calls outstanding, and I'm sure a lot of that is coming through Robinhood. That's a bunch of people writing. They're gambling on the price of Apple over the next 7 days or 14 days. There's nothing, there's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing immoral, but I don't think you'd build a society around people doing it.
Interesting, guys. Some of our viewers are writing in this morning, David, sort of defending Buffett,
right,
saying Buffett doesn't know my order flow, he doesn't sell my order flow, and he doesn't shower me with gimmicks to get me to engage.
Yep, that's all true. And I mean, Jim, listen, we've talked a lot about the gamification of these apps, and Robinhood in particular. You also made a perfectly valid point about their business model, which has potentially changed to some extent since the GameStop fiasco, when they were more or less out of business if they didn't raise $3 billion.
They didn't.
I mean, there is no doubt that there's a level of speculation there.
I'm not
Isn't there that their participants engage in that you can't fully disagree. But what is it that you take issue with then?
I think that that's a sample, a smaller group. I think it's more anecdotal than empirical. I think that we need to encourage younger people to get in, and we need to help them. I actually think that what we do here is a network.
So look, I just wanted to pause it here real quick just to make a quick justifiable point that, yeah, Buffett isn't wrong by any stretch of the imagination here, but as Jim Cramer is going to reiterate, it's so unimaginable to think because people are doing that it's just a shameful thing to society, and it should just be frowned upon. All these millennial investors signing up to Robinhood, playing on their phones like they're day trading. And honestly, guys, like I said, that's how most people have to find interest in it. And though I get that Buffett doesn't need any gimmicky call options and crazy strategies to get you to get interested in investing, I also don't think he should be put on a pedestal as much as he should be to some varying degrees. He's an idol to me. He will always be, and I will always sit through every one of their annual shareholder meetings. But I can recognize that Buffett really wasn't a tech guy until 2016 when they purchased their first shares of Apple, if you want to say IBM, because I think they used to own IBM, if you want to call that some kind of a software tech play. But it's the same thing with Bitcoin that he didn't really want to touch base on. And I think newer investors can find more interest and more plasticity in their brain, the way they look at the new generation and how they're investing. And yeah, you're going to take on some maybe more risk than you should, but you're younger, and that is the time to take on the risk, because sometimes it works out. But let's just listen to the rest of this, and then we'll follow up here, folks.
Is antithetical to exactly what Buffett and Munger said. So I'm not going into what their view is. I mean, we try very hard to educate,
right?
All of us, and it's got some power. We should not just sit here. If we're just going to tell people they should be in index funds, then I think we miss great opportunities for people. I think of all the stories you broke. If people are watching what you have to say, do I think that they're foolish taking action? I think the opposite.
No.
I think that what we do, Carl, as a network is admirable. It's to help a lot of the people from Robinhood be better. I don't think that they necessarily have to self-immolate. They're not people who shower themselves with gasoline and light a fire. There's a lot of people, I think, who have watched us. And again, I want to bring us into the debate. I spent my life trying to educate these people. Now, you could say, listen, that's a life unlearned and a life that's stupid. I look at it, Carl, I've probably talked to thousands of investors, far more than these two gentlemen, other than the people who are long Buffett, long Warren Buffett, long Berkshire. And Carl, I find it denigrating. I find it patronizing, and I know you're not supposed to criticize these two gentlemen. I know they're supposed to be above criticism, but they directly attacked a wave of investing, Carl, that I'm very excited about, and there will be people who get blown out.
Do you consider, Jim? Do you consider 7-day calls investing?
No, that's not investing. That's stupid. Do I consider that's what everybody's doing? Absolutely not. Do I consider when people call in and ask me about it? Now, you could say that's anecdotal, too. Well, after 16 years and thousands of shows, I'm more empirical than those gentlemen. David, I just think that we have millions of people who are finding their way, and some are going to make big mistakes. They always have.
But those who would use the app on a daily basis and treat it almost in the same way that they would a betting app.
That's foolish.
Yeah.
But they'll get blown out. But there'll be some of the millions, whom I think will buy Berkshire Hathaway.
So look, it's a sad fact of reality. There's going to be losers and winners here, folks. People are going to get into GameStop. They're going to make a fortune. Some are going to get in and lose a fortune. It's just a fact of reality. But I think this general broader conversation is beautifully morally balanced here, considering we just went from Jim Cramer's full breakdown to him actually justifying the use cases for Robinhood, for these Reddit users beyond what Warren Buffett is saying. And I think it's crucial to understand this, because I'm somebody that if I listen to Buffett, that's like, hey, you should only buy index funds. Don't buy anything else. You're stupid. You're stupid. Buy your S&P 500 index. Meanwhile, I have to justify the fact that I'm somebody that actually has the time to sit here day after day and do this insane due diligence, this insane amount of research. And sometimes I question myself, but I have to remind myself, like Buffett, this is all I do every day. I just sit here and I have nothing but time to fill with research. So it's more appropriate for me to be taking on a higher risk of speculation, because it's done with a much deeper evaluated due diligence period, right? Whereas most people have jobs, they have to do this, they have to do that. And for them to be picking up and playing this thing like it's a trading platform and it's a game, 9 times out of 10 they're going to lose. But that doesn't stop you or them from finding the bigger picture reality and finding a strategy that works for them. And I always come back to this point. If you're a younger person, I mean, have fun with Dogecoin, because if you've only got $5,000 to your name and you lose half of it like I did when I was 23, guys, it's not going to change your life. It's not the end of the world, but it's better that you play now when you're younger than rather start this in your mid 30s or 40s and the first thing you pick up is AMC or GME or Doge or something, and you are the person on the other side of the spectrum, because it's going to turn you so far off from the investing world. that I think it's so appropriate what Jim Cramer's saying, that it's important that you get interested and you listen to the further perspectives aside from just the hype that's kind of rolled down the line, at which I pass the question off to you. What a fascinating moment on CNBC, taking these clips that I've been able to find. And I'd love to know what you think, because these are incredible conversations in that description below. I'd love for you to be a part of it, because I do take some time to read them, though. You'll notice I haven't commented as much lately. I do read through them, but there's so much spam sometimes, guys. And when I see some of you OG #RichGang members out there in that subscribe or down in the comment section, I will reply. But trust me, I do read your comments. So stay cool, stay awesome, and I look forward to catching you tomorrow.